All right, I'm back with that second video. I wanted to again talk more on levels. I haven't talked about that in a while, and I wanted to start with obviously I wanted to start with level zero or level one, and kind of expand on that. Try to get a bit of the self and the ego into it as well. So I've told you that when it comes to the self and the ego and persona, that I felt like I had something unique. That even though I was at the bottom of my ego and persona, that it was almost like it was a special bottom part of the ego and persona created just for me. Like I was at level one, even though my ego was much higher. Now, am I the only person that I've ever seen like that? No. Typically, you don't. People don't really like. Not everybody wants to talk about it, but I mean, I didn't really know that, but I found out that there's been many people like that, who have started at that, at that bottom level and moved up. But again, like for my persona and ego, I feel like it was at probably a much higher level, and having my own at the bottom was not so bad, and I did some things that were a bit ridiculous. I don't think somebody at those top levels would have ever done things like that, because they would never need to. I was trying to see where else I can get to from this. So being at level one doesn't necessarily mean that you're like really shitty or something. Like in my case, I never felt like that. I mean, I felt like I was doing pretty good, but everything that I was doing was at that level. Now, what I want to explain is that sometimes people talk about that in life, that they face discrimination or they face adversity or difficulties. And I understand that at higher levels, there is a lot of difficulty and diversity. But at the same time, I think the worst of the worst is that bottom level. You're living at that bottom level, you're dealing with people who are at that level. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not clever or anything like that either. They can be very clever, even if they are at that bottom level. What more can we talk about here? Younger years, I think, were very easy when it came to stuff like that, because when you're going to school and you're a young kid, you can kind of develop little clever tactics, and it's very easy to maintain versus, when you're an adult and now you're just thrown into the world. That's pretty much what happens, and that's why a lot of adults, they encourage children to do 4 years of university, so they can have that time to join some kind of club, to get into some kind of hobbies, and to mature themselves, so that when they do get out there, because they'll always tell kids, and even when I was a kid in the 90s, they used to always tell kids that, be prepared. Like they tell kids from age 8 years old. At 8 years old, they start telling them, get serious about what you want for your career. Know what you want to go to college or university for right now, so that when you get to that age, you go to college or university. Because the truth is that when you're done school and you have to go out there in the world, you're just thrown out there like in the jungle pretty much. They call the cities a concrete jungle, by the way. You're being thrown with the wolves and the sheep and all that, and you're gonna have to find your place, and it can be difficult and everything. So I mean, I'd say always be prepared for that. But again, at that level one, that is basically the shittiest position. Okay, that's the world that nobody wants to be in. People are not there by choice. People are there because they're stuck there. And there's a lot. I know a lot of people at level one who are in that level, but they found ways to make some extra money or make a lot of money. But they were still at that level, and they actually hated being at that level. They absolutely just hated it every day of their life, because they felt like they knew what a higher level was like, but that they couldn't maintain it and they couldn't be part of it. So they pretty much felt shitty every day. And I've seen people like that. Now, I've been often criticized for taking everything lightly, for being happy all the time, that I'm not taking things seriously, that I think life is a game and all that. And I've been hearing that every day of my life for my whole life from everywhere, that I don't take things seriously, but I do take things. I mean I didn't. I must admit I really did not. But today I can say I'm a different person. Now I'm not saying that I'm totally out of level one or anything like that, but I know that when it comes to like when they talk about athletes, for example, being seasoned, like I feel like I'm seasoned. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm seasoned and I'm capable, and that I could pretty much handle a higher level or a higher challenge should it come my way. Um, yeah, so that's a big deal. I wanted to talk about that. But but yeah, like I said, like people who were at level one, they know and they understand what it's like at the bottom. You know what I mean? You could even start off rich, or it doesn't matter what you start off as or who you are and how amazing you are. I've seen it, man. I mean, I know that there are people who started from that bottom level. Even dealing with like street stuff, dealing with gangs and dealing with all that shit, and not only dealing with it, but doing so well with it that they just kind of flew. And they always hold those stripes with them. The fact that, hey, I'm proud that I went to level one and I did very well, and I took it from that bottom level and I worked my way up. Versus, and I'm not criticizing, but I think it's a very good thing, by the way. But if you have parents or families or uncles and aunts, are doing very well, you might even be starting at a high level from the beginning. And you don't have to worry about what if I get thrown to the wolves or whatever. What if I have to go to level one, because you're already at a much higher level and you don't really care. And you might even, for the rest of your life till the day that you die, you might still be like high at that level or even higher. So you don't really care. That's fine. This is not really a choice thing. If I had a choice, I mean, as a kid, if somebody threw it at me and said, do you want level one or level 10? Now, I think I would still choose level one, to be very honest. But that is really what I want to talk about. I'm trying to see if there's anything more I can talk about. Yeah, that's it. I mean, like I said, I got no shame. Coming from level one, I've turned it into, like, not even. It's not that I've consciously turned it into, but I feel proud about it. The fact that I started from level one, where and I dealt with some of the toughest situations every time they came my way. And as good as my persona and ego was, I had my own little, I was in my persona and ego just at the very bottom level. So I feel strong because I feel like I was holding it down at rock bottom for a persona and ego that was actually flourishing so well in the world and being so successful. So I'm glad about that. But like I said, I mean, there's nothing but, sometimes you want nothing but to move forward, to go higher, and I gotta say that comes from a hunger deep inside. I feel hungry for more. It's not like I'm like, well, I'm happy where I'm at, I don't need anything more. No, I'm hungry, and I'm willing to put in the efforts and to do whatever is necessary. Because I'm just kind of bored of being at level one all my life. I kind of want to go a little bit higher and see what it's, anyways. So the point is, I want to go forward, and I want to see what there is forward, and deal with things accordingly. I'm trying to see if there's anything that I left out. There's nothing really else. I'm sometimes I'm very happy I only have 20 odd subscribers, because if I feel like it's only that's nothing. 20 people is nothing, but 20 people to follow my channel and watch my videos, all my videos, and watch all that content, I feel honored, and I like sharing it with such a small audience. Is there anything else that I can talk about? I mean that it is what it is, and you do as you do. But it's good to be, in this world, just like on the same platform or as a plateau as every human being. And rather than getting zero of anything for the work you do or the value that you put in, it's good to know that, your value, your input actually helps you move forward. Is there anything else that I want to say? I mean, when you, so a small note when it comes to pride, when you pit against pride, when it's pride versus pride, and typically what happens is if it's a stronger pride versus a weaker pride, typically the weaker prides are more, I would say, inferior and almost like they have a complex, like an inferiority complex, like jealousy and envy. And that's when the lesser pride basically, disrespects a stronger pride. And that's when a stronger pride takes over and puts it in its place. Anyways, I'm done and I'll post this up.